You think you know your vegetables? Think again. Medieval farmers were growing crops so strange, so nutritious, and so forgotten. They'd make your local farmer's market blush. Before kale became a health food trend, medieval villagers were munching on super greens you've never heard of. And they might just be healthier, tastier, and easier to grow. What if the key to fixing our modern food system lies not in the future, but buried in the past? These 15 lost medieval vegetables are ready to make a comeback, and your plate will thank you. The lost vegetables of the Middle Ages. When we think of medieval food, most of us imagine roasted meat, loaves of bread, and goblets of wine. But let's clear something up. Meat was a luxury, bread was basic, and vegetables, they were the heart of every peasant's plate, but not just carrots and cabbage. In the sprawling gardens of medieval monasteries, in the tiny plots behind peasant homes, and even in castle courtyards, strange and beautiful, once flourished vegetables that modern agriculture has nearly forgotten. Vegetables that were packed with flavor, nutrition, and resilience. Some vanished due to industrial farming. Others got pushed out by prettier or faster growing cousins. But today, with climate change, rising food costs, and a renewed love for heirloom gardening, these 15 forgotten crops might just be our future. Let's explore the 15 medieval vegetables that deserve a spot back in our gardens and our kitchens. 1. Skirret. What is it? A sweet white root vegetable with thin, finger-like roots. Skirret tastes like a cross between a carrot and parsnip, but with a more complex, peppery sweetness. Why was it popular? Skirret was beloved in medieval and Tudor kitchens. It was boiled, roasted, or turned into a creamy mash. Monastic gardens almost always had skirret rows. Why did it disappear? Its roots grow unevenly and take longer to harvest. Not great for industrial farming. But for small gardens, it's a why bring it back? Skirret thrives in cool climates, needs little care, and tastes like a gourmet treat. A forgotten culinary gem. 2. Alexander's. What is it? A leafy green herb with thick stems and a flavor like celery crossed with parsley. All parts of the plant are edible. Leaves, stalks, seeds, and roots. Why was it popular? It was the go-to herb before celery became widespread in the 18th century. It grew wild and was easy to forage along coasts and rivers. Why did it disappear? Celery took over with its more delicate taste and uniform look. But Alexanders are far more resilient and require 0 pesticides. Why bring it back? It's a true wild supergreen, packed with nutrients, grows almost anywhere, and makes a brilliant spring salad or stew. 3. Good King Henry. What is it? A perennial spinach-like plant with arrow-shaped leaves and edible flower buds, like tiny broccoli. It's also called poor man's asparagus. Why was it popular? It was a staple leafy green for sea. Farmers valued it because it came back every year, unlike regular spinach. Why did it disappear? It takes longer to establish and doesn't look tidy in rows. Industrial agriculture prefers annuals for quick turnover. Why bring it back? It's rich in iron, grows in poor soil, and is drought-resistant. A real food security plant. Plus, it's delicious steamed or sautéed. 4. Hamburg root parsley. Petroselinum crispum var tuberosum. What is it? Imagine a root that looks like a pale carrot, tastes like mild parsnip with parsley's fresh edge, and gives you tasty leaves too. Why was it popular? Grown since the 16th century, but based on older medieval varieties. This plant gave you 2 crops in one: roots for soup, leaves for garnish. Why did it disappear? People forgot about dual-purpose vegetables as specialization took over. Now, we grow parsley or root vegetables, not both. Why bring it back? It's perfect for small space gardeners. Tastes great roasted or added to broth. And the leaves beat store-bought parsley any day. 5. Sea kale. Cram maritima. What is it? A hardy coastal plant with blue-green leaves and edible shoots that taste like asparagus. Its roots, leaves, and flowers are all edible. Why was it popular? Monasteries and cliffside villages relied on sea kale in the hungry gap between winter and spring. It was highly prized for its early growth. Why did it disappear? Hard to transport, not suited for large-scale farming. Plus, it fell out of favor as supermarkets favored longer shelf life. Why bring it back? Sea kale is a superfood that laughs in the face of poor soil and salty air. Perfect for permaculture and coastal gardens. 6. Lovage. What is it? A tall herb with celery-like flavor and leaves, hollow stems and seeds used in medieval sauces and pickling. Why was it popular? Used like today's celery and parsley, but far more potent. Lovage added strong flavor to soups, stews, and meat dishes. Why did it disappear? Its taste is strong and unusual. Not suited for modern processed foods, but in the kitchen, it's a bold game changer. Why bring it back? It's perennial, medicinal, and a pollinator magnet. One plant can flavor dishes all summer long. 7. Perennial leek. What is it? Not garlic, not quite leek, but something in between. Grows like garlic, with a milder, leek-like taste. Why was it popular? Farmers in the Middle Ages valued anything that regrew without planting yearly. This leek did exactly that. Why did it disappear? Industrial agriculture loves uniform annual crops. But in cottage gardens, this perennial was gold. Why bring it back? It's easy to grow, needs little maintenance, and offers both greens and bulbs. Great for sustainable living. 8. Rampion. What is it? A dual-purpose plant grown for its sweet, nutty root and tender leaves. Yes, the same one Rapunzel's parents stole in the fairy tale. Why was it popular? Rampion was loved for its mild, like a cross between radish and parsnip. Plus, the greens made a great salad. Why did it disappear? It grows slowly and isn't uniform in size. But in medieval times, diversity was strength, not a flaw. 9. Chard. What is it? Okay, not entirely forgotten, but ancient chard varieties have largely been replaced by modern hybrids. Why was it popular? Chard was a reliable source of greens in all seasons. Medieval cooks loved its earthy flavor and colorful stalks. Why did it disappear? Not fully gone, but older, hardier varieties, red-stalked, broad-leafed, and drought-tolerant, are rare now. Why bring it back? Heritage chards can handle heat, poor soil, and pests far better than spinach. Plus, they look like rainbow fireworks in your garden. 10. Orach. What is it? An ancient green also known as mountain spinach. Its leaves come in green, red, and purple, and taste like mild spinach. Why was it popular? Grown since Roman times, orach was widely used in medieval stews and pottages. It's more tolerant of heat than spinach. Why did it disappear? Spinach got all the glory, but spinach wilts in heat. Orach thrives in it. Why bring it back? It's an ideal summer green. Fast-growing, low maintenance, and a gorgeous splash of color. 11. Salsify. What is it? A long, slender root vegetable often called the oyster plant. Because of its mild, briny flavor, salsify has creamy white flesh and purple flowers. Why was it popular? Salsify was a staple in medieval winter diets. Its roots stored well and were creamy when cooked, often boiled, roasted, or turned into fritters. 12. Welsh onion. What is it? A non-bulbing onion that grows in clumps like chives or scallions. Unlike modern onions, Welsh onions keep growing back year after year. Why was it popular? In medieval gardens, this onion was valued for both flavor and reliability. Peasants used it in everything from broth to herbal remedies. Why did it disappear? Bulb onions took over the market due to their long storage ability. But Welsh onions don't need replanting and survive frost and neglect. 13. Corn salad. What is it? Also known as mash or lance lettuce, this cold hardy green grows low to the ground and has soft, nutty leaves. Why was it popular? It was often foraged or grown in kitchen plots. Medieval folks ate it fresh during the lean winter months. when other greens were long gone. 14. Cabbage turnip. What is it? An early form of kohlrabi, a bulbous stem vegetable with a mild, juicy crunch. Imagine if broccoli and radish had a baby. Why was it popular? Medieval farmers valued it for its fast growth and ability to thrive in pure soil. The crunchy bulbs and tender leaves were both eaten. Why did it disappear? Modern diets began favoring root vegetables like potatoes and carrots. Kohlrabi became a niche crop. Stinging. What is it? Yes, the weed that stings when you touch it. But once cooked, nettles are an iron-rich, super nutritious green. Why was it popular? Nettles were considered a spring tonic after long winters. Used in soups, teas, and even beer, they were loved by common folk and monks alike. Why did it disappear? Their sting made them unpopular in tidy modern gardens. Supermarkets don't sell things that bite back. Why bring it back? Nettles are among the most nutrient-dense wild plants. They require zero fertilizer, grow in neglected areas, and taste like spinach with a twist. What can we learn from these vegetables? Bringing back medieval vegetables isn't about dressing up in chainmail and eating stew by candlelight, although not a bad weekend plan. It's about recognizing that our ancestors weren't just surviving. They were thriving on crops adapted to the land, the seasons, and community life. Each of these vegetables tells a story of self-sufficiency, of climate resilience, of rich flavor profiles that modern agriculture bred out, of nutrition we've slowly lost to convenience. The industrial food system has favored crops that grow fast, look pretty, and ship easily. But medieval farmers grew food for taste, nutrition, and survival. As climate instability increases, water becomes scarce, and food supply chains falter. These old crops could be the key to building a more secure and sustainable future. What if we planted these today? Imagine a community garden filled with sea kale curling in blue waves, rampion flowers nodding among the onions, skirret roots nestled in soft, loamy soil, good King Henry returning every spring like an old friend. These vegetables need far less water, less fertilizer, and fewer pesticides than modern hybrids. They encourage biodiversity, attract pollinators, and often fix nitrogen in the soil. And most importantly, they reconnect us to the land and to history. Even castles had kitchen gardens. Did you know that medieval castles had entire garden layouts for vegetables like orach and salsify? Monks and abbeys cataloged plant growth, treated seeds, and wrote recipes that modern chefs are now rediscovering. One 14th century cookbook includes stewed nettles with almond milk. Another lists skirret fritters served with honey and vinegar. Even peasants knew how to mix lovage and parsley root into nourishing pottages rich in flavor and healing properties. These weren't weeds or filler food. They were celebrated, shared, and respected. The comeback begins with you. These 15 vegetables may have been lost in time, but they are waiting patiently for someone like you to plant them again. Maybe you don't have a castle. Maybe you just have a balcony box or a corner in your backyard. That's enough. Every seed you plant is a piece of history reborn. And who knows? In a world that's quickly changing, the wisdom of medieval farmers, with their wild greens and overlooked roots, might just save the future of food. Want to grow your own forgotten medieval vegetables? Drop a comment below with which one you'd try first. Skirret? Salsify? Nettles? Like what you heard? Hit that like button and subscribe for more historical deep dives, food heritage, and forgotten genius from the past. And don't forget to share this with your garden-loving friends. Let's bring these vegetables back, one backyard at a time. This has been the Forgotten Feast of the Middle Ages. Until next time, may your garden grow wild and your table always tell a story.